Coming up on the 49ers Report, can Deebo Samuel realistically win NFL MVP? And can Nick Bosa win Defensive Player of the Year? Some fascinating numbers to back those arguments up. Also, after back-to-back wins, evening up the record at 5-5, have the 49ers finally found their identity? All of that coming your way, but first, subscribe to the channel. Yesterday during our live and lit watch party, we surpassed 42,000 subscribers, so be a part of the faithful family here at Chat Sports. Hit that red subscribe button down below, and let's get the show started. It's a Victory Monday here on the 49ers Report by Chat Sports. I am your host, Chase Sr. Today's show brought to you by our friends at MANSCAPED. It's the holiday season. Treat yourself, a loved one, or a friend with the best men's grooming products and get 20% off and free shipping in the process by going to manscaped.com/49ers. If you're looking for a gift for somebody, the perfect package is that real deal. More information on that coming up. First talking point for today's show, can Deebo Samuel win the NFL MVP award? Now, the grand scheme of this conversation sounds ridiculous because when you think about this award, it's a quarterback-heavy award. But has any player been more valuable to their team than Deebo Samuel? I can make the argument no. Deebo Samuel through the air and on the ground has been absolutely fantastic this year and is putting forward a record-breaking campaign. You take a look at his numbers through the air, he's been fabulous. 55 receptions in 10 games, 994 yards, average yards per catch, 18.1. So this guy's been a big play threat each and every week. Average yards per game through the air, almost 100. And this is epic proportions here that we're talking about with Deebo Samuel here in 2021. No other wide receiver than Jerry Rice has been better in the first 10 games of a regular season than Deebo Samuel, than the GOAT Jerry Rice. And it's crazy because you take a look at some of these numbers put forward by Jerry Rice. He was getting it done from 1986 all the way until 1995 in terms of these historical numbers. And of course, he went on to have a long and great career. But the point here is that Jerry Rice was great, but Deebo Samuel this year has been great too. Most receptions yards in the first 10 games of a season in franchise history. It's Jerry Rice in the 1 through 4 spots, and then it's Deebo Samuel in there at number 5. How about the most reception yards in the NFL here in 2021? Deebo Samuel right on the heels of Cooper Kupp, but I'd make the argument that Deebo Samuel has been more valuable because he's been getting it done with the ground game as a running back the last couple of weeks. Shout out to Kyle Shanahan for the great creativity there, but he's also been a better big play threat through the air, in my opinion, than Cooper Kupp. But 1 through 5, it's Cooper Kupp, Deebo Samuel, Devontae Adams, Justin Jefferson, and Tyreek Hill. Next up with these set of numbers, as I continue to go deep with these digits, NFL all-purpose yards leaders. Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts, after that monster performance and a blowout win against the Buffalo Bills, which featured 5 touchdowns, 4 in the ground, 1 through the air. He's the NFL leader in all-purpose yards. But look who's number 2, and that goes back to my argument that Deebo has been the better all-around player than Cooper Kupp. This is really an elite class of guys. Jonathan Taylor, Deebo Samuel, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Harris of the New Orleans Saints, and Cordarrelle Patterson. Not only can Deebo play running back, play wide receiver, take the top off of the defense, be a possession guy. Basically, every time he gets his hands on the football, it's been a first down. He can also return as well. We're talking about a player who's been great as a running back. He's been great as a wide receiver. And coming out of South Carolina, a lot of NFL draft experts had viewed Deebo Samuel as more of a gadget guy. Well, here he is in year 3. He's been much more than that this year. His evolution and his growth has been phenomenal, and that's all credit to him for putting in work in the lab, especially this offseason, keeping that body fine-tuned. My next question that I have for the audience with this NFL MVP discussion and why Deebo Samuel should be considered a top 5, top 10 candidate for that award. How many wins realistically would the Niners have without the services of Deebo? Honestly, 1 or 2 wins. He has been that good for Kyle Shanahan's offense. And again, it's that dual threat ability with Shanahan using him as a gadget guy and an overall great weapon, special teams, ground game, and through the air. That's why I think Deebo Samuel should start getting some NFL MVP buzz. What do you think, though? Predict it for me. Do you think Deebo is going to finish top 5 in MVP voting? If you're new to us here at Chat Sports, we're a very interactive YouTube channel. We love hearing from the audience. So get into the comment section right now and let me know. Type Y for yes or type N for no. Deebo Samuel has been balling out. You can ball out and keep your balls clean thanks to our friends at MANSCAPED. It's the official men's grooming product sponsor of the San Francisco 49ers, and there are not many better deals in terms of men's grooming product tools than what MANSCAPED has to offer, including the brand new Lawnmower 4.0. Let me tell you a little bit about this product, other than the fact that it looks like it came straight out of Transformers, and it operates as such. 4 interchangeable blades, a battery life that lasts forever, safeguard technology, unlike those cheap razors where you get cut up. It doesn't happen with the Lawnmower 4.0. And if you want to get yourself a gift this holiday season or get somebody else a gift this holiday season, the perfect package is where it's at. $87.99. You get the ball toner, ball deodorant, the Lawnmower 4.0, and those boxer briefs, which are honestly the most comfortable boxer briefs that I have ever worn. I can attest to that. Producer Chugs can. Executive producer Sam Brown can as well. See what we're talking about by just going to manscaped.com/49ers. Be like Deebo and ball out with Manscaped. Those links in the description as well as the comment section of this video. Next up on the docket, we're already talking about Deebo Samuel as an MVP candidate. How about Nick Bosa as Defensive Player of the Year? It's pretty wild to think that last year in Week 2 against the New York Jets in the Meadowlands, this guy suffered a torn ACL, and he looks better here in year 3. We knew that Nick Bosa was an elite pass rusher coming out of Ohio State, but he's continued to get better even after suffering that really serious injury. His numbers this year, pretty wild. Leads the NFL in tackles for loss with 15. He has 22 quarterback hits in 10 games, 10 sacks in 10 matchups as well, and 2 forced fumbles. And that doesn't account for the fact that he has been held time and time again. Where are the officials with throwing these flags? I don't know, but Nick Bosa continues to thrive even though he's not getting those calls. NFL sack leaders. Nick Bosa tied for 5th with 10. Right behind Myles Garrett with 13. TJ Watt out with that injury, has 12.5. So Nick Bosa coming up on those numbers. Hassan Reddick, a great free agency signing for the Carolina Panthers. Shout out to Temple University. That's where I went with Hassan Reddick at the time. Yeah, Als, you know it's good. Matthew Judon with 10.5 sacks, setting a career best personal record for him. And Nick Bosa, a career high 10 sacks throughout the first 10 campaigns of the year. He's looked so good after this ACL that it's hard to even think that Nick Bosa had suffered that severe injury. So many times it takes players a year and a half to come back and return to full form coming off an injury like that, whether it be an ACL or an Achilles. My man was out there week 1, hasn't missed a beat, and he's been a dominant force really in the nightmares of opposing quarterbacks all throughout this season. And he thinks that he can get even better, which is really scary for those opposing offenses. Quote from Nick Bosa, "I've definitely improved a lot. I think I'm starting to get the hang of how to really get sacks and get numbers. My rookie year, I was just out there rushing, trying to win every time. It worked well. But now I'm really getting a hang of how the sack leaders in the league do it." Wow, that's really scary. Other quarterbacks across the NFL, they're shaking in their boots. They're quivering, saying, yo, 97? Thinking that he can get even better. This dude is a physical force. He's got an array of pass rush moves, and as he continues to progress in his career, he's getting even better. So how many sacks do you think that Nick Bosa would have without the holds, too? He has 10 right now. I think he could have 15 and be right up there with Myles Garrett. Clean up your sack with Manscaped, by the way. Once again, manscaped.com/49ers. To show love to Nick Bosa for him just wreaking havoc all throughout this year, just get into the comment section right now and comment DPOY. That's short for Defensive Player of the Year. If Deebo is in the running for MVP, Nick Bosa in the running for Defensive Player of the Year, I think the 49ers are going to continue to stay firmly entrenched in the NFL playoff picture. Another reminder to subscribe to the channel here at the 49ers Report by Chat Sports, because nobody's doing what we're doing. Free daily videos covering the latest 49ers news and rumors. When breaking news happens, we have you covered within the hour. I go live every single Tuesday, 7 o'clock Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And the watch parties that we do on game days, they get lit. We whip out the Patron. We're shotgunning beers. That doesn't stop me from doing play-by-play absolutely flawlessly. I'm built different. The 49ers is built different, and you could be built different by hitting that red subscribe button down below. Back to that original point in question. After back-to-back wins, had the 49ers found their identity? I think they have. Why is that? Because the last 2 weeks I've been very, very impressed with what I've seen from Kyle Shanahan's football team. They've been a physical downhill squad, back-to-back games of 40-plus rushes on the ground, and they've been dominant in doing so, picking up massive chunks of yardage. They have won the turnover battle in those two combined games 4-0. They have dominated, and I mean dominated time of possession, 77-plus minutes to 41-plus minutes. That's pretty crazy in today's NFL. They have also outscored opponents 61-20, and Kyle Shanahan has been cooking as a play caller. He's been in his bag, and he has found a groove. Fred Warner, Jimmy Garoppolo talking about the 49ers finding their identity. Let's first get to what Fred Warner had to say. I think it's just coming together at the right time. We're getting to the back half of the season, and we're getting hot. That's just who we are, though. I think that all along we've been trying to find that identity, trying to find ourselves, and it's starting to show through. How about the quarterback for this team, who you got to pay respect to and acknowledge that he's been playing excellent football over the last month, one of the more efficient quarterbacks in the NFL, by the way, according to some of the analytics. Jimmy Garoppolo, quote, "These past 14 days have, I don't want to say changed our team, but it's definitely, we're moving in the right direction. We've just got to keep going. There's a lot of football left to be played. Minnesota's going to be a good challenge for us this week coming up, and we've got to get ready for them." The way that the 49ers are playing, the style in which they have carried onto the field is certainly a playoff formula. Good defense, playing physical football, winning the turnover battle, winning the time of possession, and some of those long drives have been very, very impressive for this offense, eating up a lot of clock. Now, it sounds cliche and corny to say that, but honestly, this is an old school brand of football, and there's no way why it can't translate and work here in 2021. You take a look at some of the top teams in the NFL, they are physical teams who can win in a variety of ways, and the back-to-back games show you that the 49ers, even though they've been dominant, can win in a variety of games as well. And I agree with Jimmy Garoppolo in saying that this game at Levi Stadium against the Minnesota Vikings, massive playoff implications involved with it. The Vikings coming off a win against the Green Bay Packers. They're a very good team on both sides of the ball, very well coached by Mike Zimmer, and San Francisco is rolling right now as well. It's going to have all the feels of a playoff matchup this upcoming Sunday in that late 4 o'clock Eastern window. I think the 49ers have found their groove. I think they found their identity. My last question for you before we get out of here, do you think they found their identity as well? Type F for they found it. Type Q for not quite. Let me know and sound off. And lastly, make sure you give me a follow on Twitter and Instagram at Chase_Senior. I tweet out all 22 clips, 49ers highlights, all of my stories. Again, nobody's doing what we're doing here on the 49ers Report. Hit me up. Love interacting with the Niner gang. And as always, thanks for making today's show a part of your day.